Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters. The very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Eric. How's everyone doing? I hope you're well. You know, one of the paths, or one of the steps to a genocide is the marginalization of people. And in this case, white people have become the target group to marginalize. These people have this incessant obsession with white supremacy and race, in particular victimization. Here's an article here at TheRoot.com, written by Michael Harriot. Republican Senator Michael Williams proves why white supremacy will never die. Now, I don't endorse any kind of political candidate. I don't endorse Donald Trump. I don't endorse people like Barack Obama or George Bush. None of them. I am anti-statist. And for me to endorse any political candidate would go against everything that I believe. But here's a nice little quote to kick off the article, and it's a pretty good quote. Pretty good. Whoop, wrong direction. Throughout history, it has been the inaction of those who could have acted, the indifference of those who should have known better, the silence of the voice of justice when it mattered most, that has made it possible for evil to triumph. And that's Raz Tafari Makonnen, some shit like that. Some African name, I imagine. Don't know for sure, but nevertheless, a good quote. Because the Russians, when the Jewish Bolsheviks did their purge there, they deeply regretted not taking action when it mattered most. But this author here, I'm going to go ahead and get down to the nitty-gritty down here. Let's see. Right. I'm looking for the part where they talk about Ethiopia here. Okay, I'll start right here. They say white people are benefiting from having a commander-in-chief who supports white supremacy. Yet, more black folks are employed now than they were under Barack Obama. I don't know if you can give Donald Trump the credit for that, but, you know, there's no evidence that Donald Trump is a racist. Now listen, you people complaining about the so-called N-word, that fucking word was commercialized. After it got commercialized, it wasn't your word anymore. It's not your word anymore. Dumbass white people call each other the N-word. So, it's not your word anymore. that went away when NWA came out with Straight Outta Compton. As soon as that happened, the word nigga became commercialized, and you lost it. Thank that Jew Jerry Heller for that, and Ice Cube, and Dr. Dre, and Eazy-E. So, anyway, this incessive, they're so obsessed about their race, right? Gustave Le Bon, he's a French social psychologist. He's written books like The Crowd, the study of the popular mind, the psychology of revolution, the psychology of peoples, and a couple others. And I've read 3 of those books. And he talks all about how race is the single most important piece of a society's being. It means everything. And the Latin people, along with the African Americans, and all the Africans that are spread across the globe here, they are so much more obsessed with their race. It is their binding mechanism. That's what binds all of these people, is their obsession with race. And you might notice that white people don't have that same obsession, and the reason for that is because white people have a bunch of their own races, such as Polish, Greek, Spanish, and so on and so forth. So we don't have a racial loyalty to each other as deeply rooted as those who are black or those who are Latino, and it's going to bite us in the ass. And it has bit us in the ass to a large degree already. We already have a bunch of hostile people who have violent intentions for us, coming from the black community, coming from the Muslim community, coming from the Jewish community. They might not do the physical violence themselves, but they certainly do incite a lot of it through their media outlets. So, and that's what's going on with this race relation bullshit. Is white people are being marginalized, and we're being set up for the slaughter. All these people coming into this country, they are going to be used to kill us. They're going to be used to kill us, and then at the end, the two groups will end up fighting it out, and then the government will have a nice, obedient servant class numbering around 500 million. Now, the United States is only supposed to have 100 million people by the year 2025. What is it going to be that causes this? Well, I think it's going to be racial. Well, I think it's going to be a number of things, but included in those things is the racial element of the hostilities currently unfolding and have been unfolding. Now, they already demand that we give our personal property and all that over to the black community. This came from BLM a number of years ago. And what is going on in South Africa? They said the same thing in South Africa a few years ago. And now look, South Africa begins seizing white-owned farms. Now the guy who runs South Africa says that we're not going to slaughter white people, at least not yet. Now, there's this thing called a psychological contagion. One of the terms I learned from those books by Gustave Le Bon. And this is where an idea spreads rapidly, and it could be a stupid idea, it can be an absolutely moronic idea, like seizing farmlands from white South African farmers. Let me tell you why it's a stupid idea. It's because they did the same thing in Zimbabwe, and guess what happened? None of them motherfuckers knew how to farm after they took the farmlands. They've since, turned more shitty than they already were. All because they took the white farmlands and didn't know how to do the farming for themselves. Same thing here. The South African native population, and by the way, the land that the white settlers took over there in South Africa, no one was there. It wasn't like these people came in and displaced a population. No one was there. And white people built a civilization there, a good, long-lasting civilization, until they did the stupid thing and handed it over to the native population just to have them turn around and begin slaughtering them. Same thing's going to happen in the United States if white people don't gain some racial unity and some racial pride. And we need to start telling people, no matter who they are, that demand we give them our property, that assault us in the streets, that commit way more crimes against us than we ever have them. We're not the slave owners of the 1600s, 1700s. We're not those people. We're not responsible for that shit. And we should be defending ourselves, just like these white farmers in South Africa here. The South African government has begun the process of seizing land from white farmers. Local newspaper City Press reports 2 game farmers in the northern province of Limpopo, or Limpopo, something like that, are the first to be targeted for unilateral seizure after negotiations with the owners to purchase the properties stalled. While the government says it tends to pay owners, they wanted 200 million rand, which is 18.7 million US dollars for the land. They're being offered just 20 million rand, and that is 1.87 million. So, what's next for these people is genocide. How long will it be until that action reaches the shores of European-founded United States? How long until it happens in Britain, France, Germany, Switzerland, Iceland, and so on and so forth. These people aren't your friends. They will take the side of their own people when the time comes. Like I said, racial unity is the backbone of a race. And for some reason, white Europeans don't understand this and will not unify to the extent Latinos and black folks unify behind race. And that's going to be our undoing right there. So, I mean, even Asians are getting in on this fucking people of color victimhood. This is this woman here, and this is coming from BuzzFeed. Kelly Marie Tran. I don't even know who the bitch is. Apparently she was in Star Wars, and it was a shitty movie, and people busted her ass for it, right? And now she's crying about it like fucking, oh, I'm such a victim, even though Asian people hold job positions better than white people in our own, you know, European-founded country. But down here, and highlighted, she said she wants to live in a world where children of color don't spend their entire adolescence wishing to be white. You know, I was not aware that any children out there spent their adolescence wanting to be white. And if you did, you got a serious fucking mental illness. It's called envy. Get over it. It's envy. That's what it is. And that's what's driving the hatred for white people, is envy. You know, another fitting thing that Gustave Le Bon's book, Psychology of Revolution, stated is those who talk about wanting equality, they don't mean it in the sense of being equal. It means that they want to rule over those they think oppress them. That's not exactly how he said it, but that's the gist. And here we are today. Anyway, if you don't start getting in touch with your white identity, this is going to happen to us in the United States, and much, much worse. These people are about to be killed en masse by the genocidal, racist government of South Africa. That is what racism looks like, black folks. Not what we do here in the United States. This is racism. Telling us we don't have a culture. Telling us that we don't have civil rights. Telling us that we have this imagined privilege. That's racist. And that's what it is, imagined. Quit being envious. It makes you ugly, hateful people. Till next time, kill the state till the state kills you. Or before the state kills you.